The universe is smart in making two of one thing.
Shut the fuck up!
Okay! Ladies and gentlemen, to send you on out into the evening, into this beautiful night, Casey Childers, who I love more than, well, you are my heterosexual life partner, my friend. Don't try and quit me, I will stalk you. He wrote me this nice little piece.
Hey, Right Club audience, are you ready to hear this nice little piece?
Woo!
Let's give it a Westdahl. Are you ready to read that thing?
I feel pretty damn ready, Casey. Let's do this thing.
Spacebar once or twice?
I believe at this point it should just be once.
All right, let's go with that in 3, 2, 1. Begin.
What a great looking crowd. Show of hands, how many of you have been to a live in-studio taping before? That's great, that's great. We couldn't do this without you, and I am so glad that you're going on this ride with me. Real talk, I know the other studios ask for big, showy, cheesy reactions at these sort of things. Not here, we want your authentic reactions. I think that you're gonna like what we're cooking up, so don't do anything, I don't want anything from you but your appetite. Okay, the name of the show is Let's Cook. I'm Steven, you're the audience, so let's do this. Say it with me, let's cook! All right, today we're making something real special. I call it Gemini pot pie, but where I'm from, people just call it delicious. First thing you're going to want to do is preheat the oven for 425 degrees. After that, you're going to want to measure out your ingredients. Now, I have assistants, and they were nice enough to measure out all these things into cute little cups and bowls. But don't you worry. You can use anything you'd like. I once met a man who kept flour in a shoebox, so no judgment here. Let's see. You're going to need 1/2 cup of distilled water, 4 tablespoons of dualistic monism. Some stores will call this dialectic monism, but don't let the name trip you up. Either will do, but odds are that you're paying extra for the fancy name. Pro tip, if you want to trim some calories without sacrificing taste, substitute 3 tablespoons of unsalted Taoism. Now for the proteins, we're going to need twins. 11 pounds cubed. Alexander Stewart and James II of Scotland are best if you can find them, but they're a bit uncommon in butcher shops. Luckily, you should be able to find a suitable king with a stillborn twin brother substitution by way of Jesse Garon and Elvis Aaron Presley. The more subtle notes of flavor will be lost, but the end result might actually play better for the unrefined palate. 2 cups of Romulus and Remus. Try and find the version that comes with recent evidence of the actual cave where they sucked on the tit, the prostitute. The more fantastical story will work, but the mythological nature of the dish may be best if you stick with a grounded ingredient. 6 ounces of Alexandre Dumont. 1 clove of Gemini Space Mission. Now you're going to want to peel away everything but the symbol of Edward H. White II hanging like an unfinished fetus from an umbilicus of the spacecraft during the first spacewalk, without losing any of the sense of success from a slightly older Apollo mission that was only possible because of the short life of its twin and the lessons learned. This might be a stretch for some of you, but the key is a sharp knife and a selective eye. Add a dash of Apollo 1. That should cover any mistakes from your Gemini program preparation. Not that you're going to make any. 2 ounces of Aleister Crowley quotes, context repurposed. 1 cup of family anecdotes. Anecdotes are a great binder. For this recipe, an even mix of self-deprecation and cocksure swagger will hold together best while highlighting the flavor profile. 2 eggs, salt and pepper to taste, and finally, but entirely optional, some improvisation. Now you've got a whole pantry full of stuff you never use. Let your nose do the thinking. This is a forgiving pie. Don't hesitate to deviate. So, now we know what we're cooking. Let's know what's in it. Let's cook! Let's start by combining the dry ingredients into a large mixing bowl with the eggs, half the dualistic monism, we'll use the rest to grease the casserole dish, and the water. Mix it until it's smooth, preferably by hand. You really don't want to overmix. Now that's going to be the crust. Go ahead and put that in the fridge for a moment while we move on to the filling. Brown the twins and the spacewalk together until the spacewalk is nearly transparent and the twins are nice and golden. Watch your temperature, you don't want to burn anything. Now stir in the remaining ingredients and simmer on a low heat for 5 minutes. Different chefs have different options for greasing a pan, but when you use the word greasing, you should just go with it, so grease away. Now, grab your fillings from the stovetop, pour it into that grease casserole dish, grab the batter from the fridge, spread that evenly on the top. Now look at that, it's so pretty you could eat it uncooked, but don't do that. No, go ahead and toss it in the oven. You're going to want to give it for 45 minutes. And now a commercial. So how's everybody doing? Having a good time? Excellent. Now, we don't actually have to wait 45 minutes. No, if you didn't guess, this oven is just a prop. We had one of these babies baked earlier, and it's still warm. And we're back in 3, 2. Welcome back to Let's Cook! When last we left, we had just put our Gemini pot pie in the oven. By my count, the timer's almost done, so let's take a look. Don't forget your oven mitt, it's a hot and heavy pie. Well, would you look at that? This should just hang in a pie museum, shouldn't it? You smell that, ladies and gents? Let me tell you, you will be the talk of the town when you bring this baby to the next potluck. Don't take my word for it, though. Let's serve up a little taste and see how we did. It couldn't have been more than 15 seconds, but the fire consumed the cabin, all seemed to stand still. Gus could barely make up the 2 other men through the smoke by the time he heard Roger shout, "Open him up." And then there was the weight of 1,000 books and years and gallons of water on his chest, and in that tiny moment, the excruciating pressure of all time had stretched out across the whole time, and he saw not just the end of his life, but of all lives, stretching back as far as he could be found in the ever-expanding radius of knowledge until the multitudes of all things became the only one thing, and he saw that it was good and it has always been, and he freed himself to feel it all, and for the first time he understood what Ed had meant about returning to the capsule being the status moment of his life, and he clung to that frozen moment of all time and all space like a small body clinging to the buoy in a vacuum, that he might still see more, and he did. He saw men flow through the cracks in the hull, brothers, so many brothers, brothers killing brothers and the lies at the killing's edge, and brothers founding cities upon surviving wolves' dens, and brothers living in the shadows of brothers, and when he saw the pair of twin brothers dreaming in the womb, he reached out to assure them that all was well and the world was safe, and as it had always been, and in so reaching he carried fire down, and smote the eldest as he crowned, and burning the face of the younger, leaving a lifelong reminder of a sad voice he heard reaching out from across all space and time, and there the astronaut paused. He held his place with the boy and watched him grow in the absence of his brother, always in the accidental heir apparent, the less-than king, stunted in perspective and living a half-life and meeting his end in a misfired cannon blast on his final failed campaign. And when the all-seeing eye of Gus saw the young king die in the explosion, he remembered a death of his own that had always been and must always be, and let go of his tether, and in some distant pressure and fire rolling in the step of time, and the words upon him quickly to his end. The only word is silence. The meaning of that word is not. Thoughts are false. Father hinted unity disguised as duality. Woo! That is a hot pie!